Hello and welcome to Quarterlight today on your Sunday Drive. Sunday Drive is an episode we do every Sunday, more about living in Canada, driving in Canada, beautiful jobs on the car, things like that. The rest of the week we talk about car brochures, so I don't know if there's any comparison whether the people will like both or not, but like I said, our Sunday episodes are a little bit different. So what's happening today? Well, it's Monday today, I think about the 18th of November, although like I said, the episodes only go out on the Sunday. So Wednesday I think we're due to get snow, so I'm trying to do this when everything's all nice and we haven't had a single flake of snow yet, which is very unusual for Canada at this time of year, but like I say, it's going to change rather quickly. And also by the end of the year they're calling for the temperatures to drop, so at some point, and it always catches you out, the daytime and the nighttime temperatures end up being below freezing. Today it's about +6, so this is like the nicest day really to get out there and do these jobs, which I've normally already done by this time. So we're going to swap the tyres over from all season to winter tyres, and also I'll show you a few little things that we have to do here in Canada when the temperatures start to plummet, because it gets as low as -40, but that's usually more like January sort of time when that actually happens. Anyway, I'll get you in here and I'll show you what we're going to swap over anyway. Okay, so tyres. So these are the all seasons I've been having on all, spring, summer and up to date. So these are Continental Eco Plus, they say. These haven't been bad tyres, but like I say, I prefer to put winters on really for a little bit of added safety. This is an all season tyre, I do believe. So I'm going to change them over for these. These are, if you can read that up, Michelin X-Ice. There we go. That should do the trick better. Not a bad tread still. I've had these for a couple of seasons now, so still a lot of tread on there, and the tyre itself looks like it's still in pretty good condition. People can kind of do this in various different ways really. Some people just have a winter tyre and just take it to the shop and flip them over for a winter tyre, then flip them back for however many seasons. I kind of prefer to have a steel tyre with the winters on, and rather than getting someone else to do it, I can just do that myself. I can just change that over and then put the tyre away in the garage for the rest of the time. That's how I prefer to do it, but everyone's got their own way. Obviously, if you don't have room, then you still have to find somewhere to store this. Quite often in the tyre shops in Canada, they'll actually store your tyres for you, and then you go back and then they'll pay you a charge to store them, of course, and then they'll swap them back over at certain times of year. The other way of doing it is to not bother at all and just do all seasons, and I've even done a few years of that and not really had any difficulty, but as we've got them, it makes sense to swap them over. And of course, if you had a nicer car than this, maybe a new car, taking the alloys on and putting some steels on there, is going to protect your wheels in the worst parts of winter. So for me personally, I think it's a better setup just to have a set of steel wheels and just swap them over, but that's mine. So like I said, not bad tread on these. The rears getting a little bit low. There's still enough tread on there, but the right thing to do is to put the one with the least tread on the fronts really, and the ones with the most tread to put on the back, because of braking performance. You kind of want more braking on the rear really, but I'm going to do the right thing and not do that and stick my grippier tyres on the front, because I don't think they're going to last long if I throw them on the front. So if it ever becomes a problem, I'll just get new ones there and put them on the back. So we'll do that. I'm not going to show you all that because obviously we've all seen how to change a wheel. The other thing we have to do, if I can open this bonnet one-handed, well, there's good and bad things about this bonnet on Volkswagens. The nice thing is you can just throw it up like that and it stays up, which is nice. Although you find in winter you have your head under there and this will slowly come down and eat you like a Pac-Man. So you have to kind of remember that. The other thing we need to do, we need to dig in here somewhere, if I can remember where it is. because it gets put back here every year, there it is to dig out the block heater cord. So we have to plug our cars in Canada because it gets so cold, and obviously this is a diesel, so it's even worse and even more important to actually plug the cars in. So I usually just wind this down there. It's usually just like hanging out, something like that. So you're not messing around with the bonnet, you can just go plug your car in overnight and fingers crossed it should start. Now, a lot of people know this about diesels and the problems in winter. Obviously they're a harder vehicle to keep going in winter, but I've not had any problems with plugging the block heater in. It's been pretty good actually. I think once it let me down, but I forgot to plug it in, and I think the battery gave me like 2 goes and then it said no, so charged the battery up and it went again, no problem. But that's kind of like one of the things you can do in Canada to keep your car going. And certainly with a diesel you really haven't got any choice, you really have to do that. But in Canada it's not just diesels we have to plug in because it does get so cold. So every car in Canada comes with a block heater. They're not always like that. On newer vehicles they've got a little bit fancier. They do little less discreet ways, and you've not got a plug hanging out the back. So on this one you just put a little extension in there which comes with the vehicle, and that's got a plug on it. So different ways, and this is a petrol. So yeah, we do have to plug our petrol vehicles in as well. The difference is, if I forget to plug that one in, it's probably going to start anyway, even when it's super cold. You find new vehicles or newer vehicles, you don't seem to have, you can pretty much get away with it a lot of the time, although it will still catch you out on the super cold days. But you do find, you certainly notice the difference between starting a petrol car when you haven't plugged it in, starting a petrol car when you have plugged in. They sound awful when you start them and you haven't plugged them in, because that oil has certainly become a lot thicker. So I'm sure it helps the longevity at least by plugging them in. But like I say, if there's any sort of fault with your car, you find it in winter, and that's when you start finding you really need to plug it in. Sometimes with the newer cars you can get away with it a few times and they'll start anywhere, but like I say, they sound like a diesel, so good idea to still plug those in as well. This vital. If we don't plug this in, it will not start in winter whatsoever. But thank you. I just wanted to show you this, a little bit of an introduction of what we have to do to our cars before winter, and that's just a couple of things: swapping the tyres over, getting that block heater cord ready for the colder weather. Although we're a bit early yet still, I wouldn't plug it in -1, -2, more like -15. I'll probably start plugging this one in, and this one I'll probably start plugging this in maybe -20, -25, and that should all be good. But like I say, I'll save you the pain of watching me change these over. On a bit of a thing about Volkswagen wheel nuts, they're terrible. Every time I do this job, I know that's going to be a job getting those off. I usually end up finding a big pipe somewhere and leaving them off because they always go way too tight. I'm not sure why. They're always torqued up to exactly the specification. So yeah, I'm always worried about getting a puncture because they are really hard to get off, to be honest. But anyway, change all them out, and then we should, at least for now, be on the right tyres. So there we go, we've got the winter tyres on there now, so all is good. Yeah, it's not the prettiest look in the world for these, but it is what it is, and hopefully that'll help things a little bit during these snowy, cold Manitoban days. Bit of a word on the rears. I said there weren't as much tread. They're actually not too bad. We're not near the limit or anything, but certainly not as much tread as what I put on the front there. Rears are slightly different though. They are Bridgestone Blizzak. Interesting. So there we go. That is all back on there. So next thing I have to do, they're all tightened up, I just need to torque them up. I think it's 90 foot-pounds if I'm remembering correctly. So I just need to do that, and then that is another job done. So there we go, just a quick episode today of just what's going on at the moment. I'm sure all this will be white next time we do a video, but just wanted to do a quick update. Just a side note, if you're not subscribed already, please do consider doing that. It is all completely free. But thank you so much for watching today. Please do take care. All the best and goodbye.